Hey guys, Project Zodiac here. I'm back with another video, and in this video, I'm reviewing the third Karate Kid movie, the Karate Kid Part 3, the one that is really mixed for a lot of people, and I can see why. This is the one I've seen the least amount from the first three movies. I've seen the first one the most, second one like a few times, and then the third one like maybe just once or twice. Um, so this one in particular, I have a lot to say. That's a little bit different than what I said with the first two. So if you guys just want my very quick, honest thoughts on the movie, is it is a good movie. It is a good movie. It is fun, it's entertaining, it stays true to the essence of the Karate Kid, and it really does put Daniel and Mr. Miyagi in a new position that was very interesting to see. And I think it was also a nice next step in their story and everything. So, what I don't really like too much about it is mostly just a lot of the settings, and a little bit more about the villains, and just in terms of what they actually focus on in regards to the plot of this movie. But yeah, it's not a bad movie. Like if I, for example, give the other two a 9 out of 10, this one I would give like a 6 or a 7 out of 10. Like it's not too worse of a movie. But yeah, I don't. I mean, in my notes, like whenever I watch a movie and write quick thoughts on it, I do rank them. But for these reviews, I don't want to give like an actual rank. I just want to, you know, give my thoughts. The only reason why I'm saying that right now is just so you can understand that it's like, yeah, it's good, but it's not as good as the original two, the first two, but it is good. And I do think it gets hated on a lot too. But yeah, that's my quick thoughts on it. So now I'm going to go into my in-depth thoughts in this movie. So if you want to hear about those, please stay. If not, then it's okay. But I do ask, please stay so that you can hear my full in-depth thoughts on it. So there will be spoilers from this section on. So if you haven't seen it, I can understand why. But if you don't care, then that's okay. I mean, it is a pretty old movie by now. So, but yeah, I do recommend you watch it. This one I really recommend you watch. So, The Karate Kid Part 3. What are my full in-depth thoughts on it? Again, all of those things I said is true. You know, they do put Daniel and Mr. Miyagi in a very interesting position where Daniel is now being aggressive and letting his hot-headedness take over him because he's now part of Cobra Kai, because Mr. Miyagi does not want to teach him, for him to fight in the new All Valley tournament. So, yeah. And then we get introduced to a new character, Mr. Silver, Terry Silver, who really manipulates Daniel a lot and like really pushes Daniel and hurts Daniel in ways that is psychologically hurtful. And even Daniel comes to a mindset of like, okay, something's not right with me. This is not how I am. I don't go around punching people. Why am I punching this guy? And then he even, you know, keeps hiding things from Mr. Miyagi, and their relationship really, you can feel Mr. Miyagi's pain. Like really, what they do so well in this movie is showing you Mr. Miyagi's pain. Like yes, he's more quiet. He's more, you know, in general, like Mr. Miyagi is quiet, or you know, when he's talking, he's always, you know, very focused, but laughing at Daniel and things like that, not taking what Daniel's stressed about seriously. But in this movie, he is, when Daniel joins Cobra Kai, and is trained by Terry, he sees Daniel being hurt, and it upsets him. And when he tries to go to Daniel for Daniel to have help, and Daniel refuses it, just yells at him, Mr. Miyagi gets really hurt because, you know, that's basically his son. going through so much hard things. And I said this in the other videos, I'll say it here as well. Mr. Miyagi is basically Daniel's father, adopted father. Um, their relationship really is of a father and son relationship, and it is done so beautifully and so relatable. So, yeah, I think that, it's like him seeing his son not even being rebellious, but being more, what's it called? Like, not himself. And he's worried about him and knows that he's in trouble and needs help, kind of like that. So, not necessarily being rebellious, just being hurt and not wanting to admit that he's being hurt. So, yeah, it was really painful to see Mr. Miyagi even just at one point saying, Daniel, why are you doing this to yourself? And then Daniel is like, why? Because you won't train me, and things like that. And also, it was hurtful to see Daniel, really, really being pushed by a bunch of jerks. Like, the villains in this movie, they're just crazy. Really, they're all just crazy. At least in the first movie, it makes sense why they're jerks, and in the second one, it does too. But in this one, they're just jerks just because they're crazy. So it was really interesting to see that. But because they're just crazy, they really do put Daniel in some very more aggressive hardships, like removing the rope when Daniel was climbing down a mountain, trying to get a bonsai tree, and forcing him to try to sign the application to enter the tournament because he had decided he wasn't going to enter the tournament. And so yeah, they really, really keep pushing him, and then he had to say that he was going to go to the tournament and sign it to save his life because otherwise he would have drowned. It was a whole thing. But Mr. Miyagi still didn't approve. So that's why Mr. Miyagi didn't want to train Daniel until they see that Kreese is present and involved in all of this, and best friends with Terry, and kind of orchestrated all of that with Terry. So then Mr. Miyagi's like, okay, I'm gonna train you now. So I think that was really, really cool that, they showed that Mr. Miyagi understood at that point why Daniel had to sign it. It wasn't just that some guys were being bullies. It was Daniel was really being manipulated by a guy that's trying to really hurt him and kill him. Or not kill him in this movie, that was the last one. So I thought that was pretty good. I also like the first movie. This one does end in a big final battle in the tournament. I do also love that this movie does feel tense. Like the final battle with Daniel and the big bully, it was brutal because if you watch my first Karate Kid review, I explained there how these movies are really relatable to me, especially in many ways, but one of those things is the bullying aspect. How I suffered a lot of verbal, mental, and physical bullying. So what he was doing what the bully was doing, how he was taunting Daniel, and screaming at him at the fight, and all the things that he was saying with that tone and that aggravation, that's a bit similar how it was for me, honestly. Because yes, there was many moments where I would be on the ground, or I would be holding my stomach, or I would be holding my head trying to block off everything, and people literally talking down to me in the same tone and the same manner that this guy was talking down to Daniel when Daniel was on the floor right before their final match. Like the what's it called again? The sudden death match that they had to do. So I can relate to that, and it is hurtful, especially when you go through that almost every single day for many, many years, because that's how it was for me. So it was really painful, but thankfully I've been growing from it. I've been healing a lot from it, and I've healed a lot already too. There's still things I'm working on, of course, but Thankfully, I am getting a lot better, and I have been getting better. And I think that that's what Daniel learned as well during that fight. It's like this guy is like a dog barking at him, saying all these horrible things, and Daniel literally tells Mr. Miyagi, I'm scared. I don't want to fight. I'm scared. And Mr. Miyagi's like, hey, it doesn't matter. Forget if you're scared or not. If you're scared, then you lose. Don't worry about winning or losing. Just remember, your karate comes from your heart. It comes from your mind. Not if you're stronger than him or not. Just focus on being you and following your heart and doing your way. Don't worry about what he says. Yes, he's stronger than you. Yes, he's vicious and he's manipulating and attacking your mind. But forget it. Focus on being able to be yourself and fight. And that is so beautiful. And that's a very good message for anyone who is suffering bullying or going through hard things. And again, I talk a lot more about Mr. Miyagi's beautiful lessons about life in the very first Karate Kid movie review, so please watch that. So yeah, Mr. Miyagi explains all these things, and then Daniel faces that, and even though he's terrified, he's like, okay, no, I'm gonna do what I can. I'm gonna breathe, and then he does his kata, and Terry's like, what are you doing? You're just wasting your time doing that. Just fight. And then the bully's confused as to why he's like doing meditative movements. But it's because Daniel is looking at his heart to calm his mind, to focus and put away his fear and face it. And that's true courage. It's facing the things that you fear about head on, even if you're scared. Just calm your mind. You know that you're scared, but you can do this. Just face it very quickly. And that's what he did, and he wins. And he defends his title, and it's beautiful. So the ending for this movie is amazing. I love it. And really the lessons that it teaches, the focus on Daniel, Mr. Miyagi, all of that is good. And I also really love that in this movie, they didn't give Daniel a love interest. They gave him a friend that's a girl. And it was really, really nice to see that as well, because, you know, all the other movies, it was just love interest. But this one, it showed that, you know, it's like guys can be friends with girls. And it was really nice to see that as well. In that aspect, you know, like they can hang out, go do their hobbies together. It's fine. It's normal. And a lot of people have stigmas with that. So that's why I like that this movie shows that it's normal. You know, it's okay for guys to have to be friends with girls and girls to be friends with guys, because we're all human. So we need to love and take care of each other and be friends with each other. You know, so it doesn't matter if you're a guy or a girl. A friend is a friend. So that's what I liked that this movie showed, because really a lot of movies don't show that. Immediately when a girl and a guy are in the same scene together, the movies usually just end up making them as love interests, usually. So the fact that this movie showed a different side to that, that's what I like, because it shows, you know, it's okay for guys and girls to be friends. So yeah, I thought that was really nice, and I just thought overall that the movie was good. Now, at the time, it was the conclusion to The Karate Kid, so was it good as a conclusion? I think so. Again, still not the best, and I'll explain why in a minute, but I think the way that it ended was meaningful. Just like, okay, yeah, that was a nice, fun movie. Not the best, but I liked the ending. It resolved a lot of things, and it was good. So, what is it that I didn't like? Well, first, at the very beginning of the movie, there was a terrible edit where Daniel's neighbor, the one with the dog from the first movie, she's talking to Mr. Miyagi, and then like as she's just talking, there's just a huge hard cut. As she's talking, there's just like mid-sentence, she's about to start saying things, and it's just a hard cut. And then it's just Mr. Miyagi on the phone in his was it the shop or his house, something like that, talking with Daniel's mom, and it was just so distracting. I literally had to rewind it to make sure I didn't, zone out for a second, because it is a horrible cut. I don't know what they were thinking. Just let the old lady finish talking, let that scene finish. Don't just cut it in the middle of the scene in that way, because that was so badly done. And then go on to the next one, the next scene. But yeah, so that's my first complaint. My next complaint is we get an explanation for why Daniel's love interest from the last movie isn't coming to the US, because Daniel wanted her to go with him at the end of the last movie. But at the end of the last movie, Mr. Miyagi's love interest says, hey, when you left here 40 years ago, you didn't take me with you. So this time when you go back, please take me with you. And then Mr. Miyagi is like, okay. So we get no explanation why she's not in this movie. And I don't understand why. The only mention of her that we do get is that Mr. Miyagi doesn't have a lot of money right now because he used a lot of his money to build her a new house because her house was destroyed. So it's like, okay, but why isn't she here? She was supposed to be there. And that's all they say. So I think that the writing for that was really bad, and that goes into one of my biggest complaints. Daniel's friend in this movie. It's so nice that he makes a friend because again, he's only had Mr. Miyagi. Actually, I forgot to say this in the first movie review. That friend that he makes at the very beginning of the movie, what was the point of that? Just invite him to the party so he can meet the girl and then meet the bully? Because that friend disappears and is never mentioned again after that beach scene. And that's at the very start of the movie. So really, what was the point of that? They could have had any way to get Daniel to go to that beach party other than introducing a character to simply say, hey, come with us to the beach party, and hype him up to be like he's going to be Daniel's friend throughout the movie. And then he's literally gone and never mentioned again for the rest of the series. So yeah, I did not like that at all. That's one of my biggest complaints from that movie that I just forgot to mention. So I'm saying it now. But they do a very similar thing here. So thankfully, the girl here, his friend here, is there throughout most of the movie, and I think that they have a really good friendship. I really liked how they handled all of that. You can tell that they were being really, really good close friends. But what was the point of having her there if she's not even going to be there for the tournament? Because they have her leave right before the tournament even starts. I think maybe by like a week or so. So for like a good 15 minutes at the end of the movie, she's gone. She moves back to her hometown. So what was the point of that? Because the only person there that's cheering Daniel on at the end of this whole original series is just Mr. Miyagi, because his mom is in New Jersey taking care of his uncle, and well, the love interests aren't there, so the only other person there is just Mr. Miyagi. And yes, I mean, he is the returning champion, so people are excited that he's there, but who actually know him is just Mr. Miyagi. And I felt like that made no sense at all. Why would they not let his friend be there until the tournament? So it just, I don't know, it just made no sense for that. Yes, when Daniel meets her, she explains that she's going to be leaving soon. And Daniel even gets dance tickets for them to go to a dance place to celebrate her right before she leaves the day before. So, and then the tournament is a couple days after. So again, why did they do that? It just makes no sense. So then Daniel goes, fights in the ring with just Mr. Miyagi. Again, that's basically his dad, so he has loving support there, but there's no more mentions of his friend after that, after she leaves. So again, thankfully, she's there throughout just about the entire movie. It's like just the last 15 minutes that she's not, or the last 20, something like that. So thankfully, she's there for a good portion of the movie. But then she just leaves and is never mentioned again. And then Daniel goes and fights just with Mr. Miyagi by his side. So I did not like that. And then the last thing about the writing that I did not like is, well, actually, no, I'll say this one now. I'll say the other thing right after the last complaint with it. The last thing that I didn't like is that this movie, I loved that it focused on Daniel wanting to realize one of Mr. Miyagi's dreams. Really, I thought that that was so beautiful, and it really furthers their relationship as like a father and son. Um, and I thought really it was beautiful. I really loved that he went and wanted to, and took his own money that he was going to use for college to buy, or not to buy, but to lease a building for them to open a bonsai store shop that Mr. Miyagi dreamt of. So I thought that that was beautiful. Um, I mean, honestly, I don't know if that really was one of Miyagi's biggest dreams, because Daniel was like, "Hey, did you ever think about opening a bonsai tree?" Kind of like Daniel really wanted to, and he was just seeing if Mr. Miyagi wanted to, and he's like, "Yeah, that's one of my dreams." And then Daniel kind of just jumped to it. Again, it's fine because it is one of Mr. Miyagi's dreams. Um, but I think it wasn't his biggest dreams. Um, because he just kept saying, "Yeah, maybe when I retire." So it wasn't something that he was really focusing on so much. Uh, but maybe it was one of his biggest dreams. The only reason why I'm saying maybe it wasn't was just because he's never mentioned it before. Um, but given the fact that he loves bonsais, it makes sense. So yeah, I do actually. Now that I think about it, yeah, I think that would have been one of his biggest dreams, being surrounded by bonsais, because even in the first movie, in his office, it was filled with bonsais. So honestly, yeah, that makes sense that it would be a dream of his to be surrounded by bonsais and working with bonsais. So forget what I just said a few minutes ago, but what I'm trying to get at is, I think that that's beautiful. But this movie, the script for it, focused mostly on that, on the bonsai store. And again, that's fine because that's part of the plot of granting Mr. Miyagi's wish on that. But when I say most of the movie focuses on that, I literally mean like 80% of the situations in this movie is related to the bonsai store. Not just about realizing Mr. Miyagi's dreams, but about the store itself, even against the bullies. And that leads into the other complaint that I said I was going to have. And I felt like this movie really didn't have a lot of different locations, because most of the locations feel like it's inside the bonsai store. So that is why. That's why the complaint with the writing is not, is this not the best in terms of balancing, because everything feels like, most of the movie feels like it's focused on the bonsai store with just a few things that's not, because of the fact that most of the scenes of this movie is related to the bonsai store. And again, I get that the bonsai store is important, but they really needed to balance it out, to focus more on Daniel and Mr. Miyagi, because they do. Again, they focus on Daniel wanting to get this store to realize Mr. Miyagi's dream, and then they focus on the conflict between them. But I think they needed to focus more on that, because it felt like it was lacking a little bit. And really, the fact that most of the scenes just feel like they are in the bonsai store, just makes the movie feel really rushed as well. And also with that editing situation that I mentioned earlier. So it just kind of felt like they had a good idea, but they didn't really want to spend too much time in fleshing out that idea. So they just kind of slice it into just the bonsai store stuff, and just wanted to focus on that and didn't want to go looking for a lot of different locations, so they had a lot of scenes just set in the bonsai store. So I thought that was interesting. But yeah, again, guys, this movie isn't bad. It is really enjoyable. It's just when you watch all three of them back to back, you do see that decrease a little bit in the quality. But again, is it bad? No. It's still really enjoyable. It's still really true to the essence of the series. It's still really true to these characters. And it does build up on the mythology a lot. So, again, it is a great Karate Kid movie, but it isn't the best. So, but it's also not the worst. I'll say that. It's also not the worst, but it is not the best. The best is the first two tied together for me. But again, still a very fun movie, and it is a good movie, just not the best in the series. But yeah, guys, that's my review on The Karate Kid Part 3. Let me know what you think about this. I will next be doing the movie called The Next Karate Kid. And I'll have a little bit more to say about that one because that one is a little bit different. But let me know what you think of The Karate Kid Part 3 and which one is your favorite Karate Kid movie and what you think of the show Cobra Kai, what you think, which one's your best, your favorite Karate Kid, and yeah, just let me know what you guys think of the series. So you can watch all of my reviews on the Karate Kid in the Karate Kid playlist or the movie review playlist as well. Again, it's in both playlists. The Karate Kid playlist has them in chronological order. But with all that said, guys, rate, comment, subscribe, and I'll talk to you later. Have a good night.